and welcome to this week's energy update for the week of April 14th. My name is Wendy Gerhart. Every single week, I post the Ascension energy update for the coming week. Please note that everything I bring forth is channeled directly through Source. It is meant to support you. Nothing is necessarily meant to be taken literal, but for you to receive and for you to allow it to support you in any way that it makes sense for you or resonates with you within your own unique life experience. Now, coupled with these Ascension energy updates, every single week I also post what I call a cosmic story over on Instagram. If you're not following me, go follow me at Instagram at I am Wendy Gerhart. This is where they will be posted. And what this is a frequency transmission. And a lot of times these stories are metaphorical, okay? You don't have to understand it in literal sense, but when you tune in, you allow the words, the frequency to just sort of to receive it, it's going to help to support you with the energetic shifts. So allow it to recode, to recalibrate, to clear, to activate, to do what all of the things that are needed to help support you during this current week. If you aren't already following me here, please make sure you subscribe. And if this video you find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first card that we have this week is the Two of Wands. Okay, so Two of Wands, Two of Wands. So you have a path behind you. You've already, this feels like vision, this feels like expansion because you know he's holding like the earth, right? In the right hand. And then so we've got the earth in the right hand, the physical, the actual like earth versus, you know, the spirit, the wisdom, the wand in the left hand. So this feels like vision, this feels like expansion. You've already outgrown where you are, and you kind of, I'm assuming by now, as we've been going through the weeks, you know this now. And there is a future that is calling you forward, but it's going to ask you to step outside of what has been familiar. Okay. But it's not to step out in strategy. This feels like to move from soul, to move from sovereignty. So this journey, it feels like we're going on a journey here, a new journey, a new beginning, a new creation, stepping into a new timeline. This time, though, we're not going to do it from strategy. This time, we're going to do it from soul. We're not going to do it from limitations or disempowerment. This time, we're going to do it from sovereignty. And the Two of Wands is really not an action card, by the way. It's more of like feel the weight of the potential. Allow yourself to be moved energetically from choice, right? Not from a checklist. That's the kind of like embodied sort of vibe. Like this is, we're moving into the embodiment, the knowing of this information. And it feels like moving from identity, not the fear of what might happen if you don't go. Okay. It's not like, oh no, I have outgrown this timeline. And so now I have to move because if I don't move, then like something bad is going to happen that's going to like make me move. No, no. Like it's like you're moving from, I move because this is who I am. I move because I am the one who moves. It's that sort of frequency. Okay. So then this is coupled with, we have Voyage card. Here now you're seeing we have the large whale and what looks like the baby whale. We've got the full moon, which just passed a few days ago, and we have the water. The water is like, you know, the intuition, the emotions, the wisdom. But then we've got like, you know, now whales are the keepers of like the Earth's records. I want to say records of the Earth's records. Okay, so wisdom. This is like this mom versus daughter. This feels like lineage. This feels like timeline holders, um, the wisdom keepers, the Akashic record guardians. Um, what else? I'm having this like, yeah, there's something going on here. I'll let you know when it comes through. But it feels like perhaps also this responsibility. So I see that you probably can't see this on the video, but like the baby is sort of like there's lines. almost like grid lines. They're lines going from the baby to the mom. So a continuation, a tethering, um, almost like a responsibility, carrying the responsibility of what came before you, right? Like it's been passed on into what's next. So it almost feels like a threshold kind of moment, like we're really, yeah, okay. And then we have Foggy Bog. Now, here's the interesting thing is that we had this card last week. We had this card last week. Now, what's really interesting is as I pair this, it feels like we have a rebirth going on here, right? We talked about we've outgrown the timeline, we're moving into a new, this is your creation. This is something, this is like the rebirth. This is the one that's being reborn versus the one that knows, right? This is the frequency holder that's disseminating the frequency through the ley lines into the creation that is held, right? That is birth of the waters, of the wisdom, of the ley lines, but is almost rising above it. It's almost like it's above it, above the shadow. No, below the shadow. As above, so below. Subconscious energy coming up. Past life, sort of like this past life, this inner truth, this subconscious energy is all going to be coming up to the surface. And this fog, unlike last week where I felt like this was confusion, this feels like sacred concealment. That's what this feels like. It feels like be present in the passage, in the rebirth. Be present because this time we're going to move from embodiment. This time we're going to do it different. This time, right? It's almost like we're going on a journey again. And this time, let's do it intentional. Ready? This time, we're going to do it intentional. And so this is like to move, like the one who moves without needing the whole map. You don't need to see clearly in this fog because you're the one who trusts that the map is unfolding. You don't move from force, you move from trust. Yeah. And so allow yourself to move with intention and trust that the map is all unfolding and is already sort of like the clarity and the truth is already forming. It's already coming into place. Okay. So next we have the Knight of Pentacles, Hummingbird, Joy. So a lot of like perhaps energy of the North, 22, Master Architect energy. The hummingbird often drinks from the deepest part of the flower. So again, going really within the depths. And then we have flow. And once again, we have the water and the moon coming in here. So a lot of subconscious shifts, a lot of like feminine sort of moving parts here. But then we have the night, which is very masculine. And this, this night, what comes devotion. It feels like this is coming from a place of like devotion to the path. Not just like you have been devoted and you are devoted, but like double down on the devotion. That's what it feels like, a commitment to mastery. And this card is kind of reminding you like, trust the timing, right? Trust the timing. How are you showing up when nobody else is watching? Remember, it's almost like we're building a formula here. Are you seeing what's coming forward? It feels like we're building a formula here and we're in the energy of creation here of like, okay, we're building this formula. Now we have paid attention to like how we're going to move forward, right? With intention, with trust, with sovereignty. And now the next piece goes, okay, so how do you show up when nobody else is watching you? Double down on your devotion because the hummingbird is kind of a contrast to the six or the Knight of Pentacles. It's like, again, travel, journey, hummingbirds travel incredibly far. This again feels like the call to the travel, to the journey, going vast distances. But it's almost like this joy isn't shallow, it's resilient. So, the hummingbird here, it says joy here, and it feels like we're bringing in an ingredient here. Joy is the ingredient. Can you remember joy as your frequency, not your reward? Oof. Whoa. Can you remember joy as your frequency, not as your reward? And then I'm hearing something with beauty. Like, okay, 22, master architect, the devotion. I feel like this like serious but playful energy coming in. So it's almost like, can you allow it to be fun? Can you allow it to be playful? Can you allow it to be beautiful and serious? Like, can they coexist? Right? Because if you're just in the very childlike energy, you may not get things done, right? You might get so lost in it. So it's like master architect. Okay, so again, we're creating the structures for this. We're starting anew, and we're bringing in the joy and the beauty as a part of our new frequency, as a part of the new frequency. And it's like presence, pleasure, joy in the mundane. Okay, joy in the mundane and all of the things you're doing it. Are you doing it from a place of presence, of a place of joy? Because that's who you are, not what you receive. It's who you are. You radiate the frequency. And then the flow is almost like pulling it all together here, right? We've got the water. Again, the moon, it feels like the moon is probably still bringing in some of this. It's clearing some of the way for this. And also the reflection, right? So it's almost like we have the shadow and the light because it's like the full moon, quite bright, the reflection of the light, the subconscious, and this feels like alignment. This feels like devotion led by joy, not pressure, willingness to trust the rhythm. Um, and when we talk about flow, right, it's kind of like the opposite of resistance. And it's sort of this, I'm hearing, it's like this reminder that like resistance doesn't make you stronger, it makes you tired. That kind of vibe. So, like, those of you who have been not paying attention to some of, last week we talked about being the witness to some of the thoughts or the ways you have created things in the past where maybe you thought like it needs to be hard. And it's like, I understand that's how you created it before, but is that really how you want to create it now? Because it doesn't make you stronger, it just makes you tired. So it's like, why resist what your soul really wants to create? Okay. Even as I say this, you guys, I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit of tired, this tired energy, like the tired energy wants to go, doesn't want it to be so hard. It really does not want it to be so hard. Okay, so we have Six of Cups with happiness, very colorful dolphins and earth spirit stability. So happiness here. We've got the dolphins, we've got the sun, very, very colorful energy. And then we have earth spirit stability. And you see her there on the earth. Again, we have swan energy, so beauty again coming in. We have the trees, we have flowers, we have a fairy energy, lots of symbolism. And then the 1-4, the 14. So again, alignment with the structure, with the heart. Okay, so Six of Cups to me is always like this innocence, this nostalgia, this like memory, inner child energy. So this feels like not nostalgia for going back into the past and like reminiscing in the past, but the past has a purpose. It's almost like retrieval, retrieval of a lost frequency. The version of you who like colored outside the lines, the version of you who stopped and smelled the roses, the version of you who dreamt in color. So this feels like real like original codes of origin, original power, activation of joy as the truth, play, right? We've got like dolphins. Dolphins play. They're extremely playful. And it's almost like they don't hustle for happiness. They swim in it. Like it's that kind of an energy, right? And again, that brings you back to the water. Like they're in the water, they're swimming in it. It's joyful. There's a joy in the reclamation, in the journey, in the reuniting. and pulling back more of who you are innately at your core, your uniqueness. Um, like remembering you don't earn joy. You don't earn it. Okay? You are joy. This is your natural frequency. You don't have to prove your right to pleasure. It belongs to you. It is who you are. Joy and pleasure and beauty and all of these things, they are a soul signature that is not a reward. Okay? You don't have to, it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to earn it. This is who you are. Make a conscious decision that this is how you're going to create from. Now, the Six of Cups feels like an invitation to remember that you're like who you were before you were conditioned, and to also remember that your light is not conditioned, it is coded. Okay? And maybe that will, even as I say that, I'm a little like, huh? I'll say it again. Your light is not conditioned, it is coded. And then we have this earth spirit energy. This feels like embodiment, like anchor it. Don't just let the joy be something you know, let it be something you know. Don't just let beauty be something you know, let it be something you know. So it's like like this activation, this reclamation of your inner child, of the joy of your codes of origin. Know that joy is safe to be here in the physical realm. You are not meant to keep everything up in the higher astral. The whole point of being here is to anchor it, to embody it, to bring it down to earth, to bring it into your everyday life, to lead from this energy, to lead from this frequency, and to ground your gifts. This is almost like the trinity of remembering. That's what I'm hearing. Trinity of remembering. It's like the child you were, you're reclaiming the child that you were, you're reclaiming your joy and your structure, like your structure that gets to hold it all, which we're talking about the structure, this is masculine as well. So it's like we're reclaiming the we're reclaiming the feminine, the masculine, and the inner child. This is the Trinity all coming back together. Oh my God, I just got like massive goosebumps with there. It's all coming back together. Woo! Okay. So then we have the Six of Wands. I feel like we had that last week as well. And this is coupled with Stag Spirit Leadership, energy of 39, 3 energy, and then Standstill here. Standstill. Again, under the tree. Again, looks a little bit like wetland. Once again, the water coming in. All right. Victory. Triumph. You did it. You've arrived. Um, you are seen. This is what it feels like. You are seen. Uh, not for, it's like you're not seen in performance, and this feels external, but more importantly, this feels internal. So not in performance, not in like a mask, not in who you've been pretending to be, but we have reclaimed more of the true frequency of who you are. So this feels like more seen in your truth. Um, does, like I said, feel like some public recognition, validation. It's almost like, I've like over the weeks, right? Like you walk through the fire, you have moved through the fog, you've reclaimed your inner child, you're awakening the masculine. Um, and now the world is going to reflect your inner victory. Okay. Again, this is not visibility for, it's more like visibility for resonance. Visibility for the purposes of showing you that all the changes you have made on the inside, all the reclaiming you have done, all the remembrance you have done on the inside is now starting to reflect to you on the outside. That's what that feels like. We have the stag, which very much leadership. This feels like regal, noble, divine masculine energy, presence, a stillness, space holder, like the stag leads through an anchored frequency and embodied like this, like whew, that's not a word, but that's well, it's like a here, I'm here. right? Grounded, landed, um, and affirms that you are the standard. Your frequency is now the standard. Now, here's the thing, you guys, I talk about all of this stuff. This is my work, by the way. If you're finding me just on Instagram, you may not know that like my work is all about bringing people into their unique, original frequency, their own unique energy, and how they receive their unique codings, not not for what I say to be an indoctrination, but for it to be a guiding system into their own way of being, their own way of communicating, their own wealth, their own way of speaking, their own way of branding, like all of those sort of things, right? And so I'm getting very excited about this week's reading. And then we have Standstill here, Standstill energy. And this feels like we've got the bird, we've got the wetlands. His legs are like not 1 foot, out, which kind of feels a little bit like foggy, right? It's like one up, one down. This one's like very like standing in the water, very sort of grounded under the tree. It's like all of the elements are here, everything is showing up. Um, it's like depth lands. You're meeting yourself here. This doesn't feel like a standstill. It's saying a standstill, but it's not like a bad, it's not like things aren't moving. Okay? It's more like we're not stopping, but there's a pause. There's a pause of power. There's a pause of power. I don't even know what that means. There's a pause of power. Um, you don't need to do anything to become anything. You don't need to do anything to become anything. So it's like root. Again, anchoring the frequency, anchoring the knowing, coming back into the truth, walking like you trust, even when you cannot see, because you're moving by what you know, which is that the clarity is already unfolding. You have shifted timelines. Um, this is a threshold. This week is a threshold moment, but it's like, let's seal it. Let's seal it in. Let's really anchor this. This feels like a week where be very like intentional in slow down to speed up kind of energy, like pay attention, be really present. You're making your recipe this week. The energy through which you create will be the energy your creation exists in. So make sure, right, you're intentional. Bring in the joy, bring in all these things, claim it, own it, root it, know it. Walk like you are the living, breathing embodiment. Identify as it so that this time we do it different. So that this time we do it different. Okay, amazing, amazing. All right, everything is starting to come together in the most amazing, beautiful, magnificent way. If you have not taken my wealth frequency archetype quiz, the link is below. Feel free, go click it. The quiz actually gets delivered to you in email. This is where you're helping, or I'm giving you, right, a quiz that's going to help you unlock sort of your unique architecture for how you receive. This quiz is only like the very tip of the iceberg. It's not meant to be like the end all be all. It is meant to be a guide because who you are and the frequency, it's much bigger than this particular archetype. But this archetype is meant to give you a stepping stone. It is meant to be the bridge. It is meant to be sort of like a guidance system. And if you are someone who takes the quiz and you're like, okay, I want more, I want to activate the codes of this, then the wealth code is available for you as well, for you to go ahead and begin to activate these codes within your being. All right, I am so excited. I'm so excited. Go follow me on I am at Wendy Gerhard. Let me know how this lands. Drop your comments below, and I'll see you on next week's energy update.